Good morning. Nice, beautiful morning at the clearing. Our first plant today is Evening Primrose, a lovely name. Yellow flowers, 4 petals, and you can see the petals are kind of notched at the end like that, almost like they're divided in two. A very pretty yellow flower, about half an inch to an inch across. Plants can grow up to about 4 or 5 feet tall. It's a biennial. So it'll just grow a rosette foliage at the base the first year over winter, and then shoot up its flower stalk the next year, flower, and then this plant will die in the fall. Narrow leaves, attractive, kind of land-shaped. And this is one of those plants that, these are probably the flowers that opened yesterday, and they'll wilt sometime today. The flowers open later in the day and stay open all night. They're moth-pollinated. It's one of the moth-pollinated flowers, and the flowers are open for about maybe 24 hours. So the ones that open tonight will still be there in the morning, tomorrow morning, but then they'll wilt and die tomorrow. So these are probably the ones that were open last night, and they won't last a lot longer today. So Evening Primrose. Here we have one of my favorite wildflowers, although it looks almost like a shrub. This is Spikenard, S-P-I-K-E-N-A-R-D, Spikenard, a large herbaceous perennial native plant. Again, looks like a shrub. And here it is, I think just past full bloom. It's tiny, loose clusters of tiny white flowers. Actually, when they're open, they're maybe 1/8 of an inch across and kind of star-shaped. These will develop by fall a purple berry, just loose clusters of purple berries that various wildlife, birds and other wildlife will eat. The leaves are, this is called pinnately compound. This whole thing right here is one leaf, and these are the 5 leaflets. The bud is down here. There aren't any buds in these axils. The bud's down there. So this is a one whole leaf. It's called pinnately compound. Heart-shaped, attractive. It's a beautiful garden plant. I've got quite a few of them at home, and some of mine are almost 6 feet tall. This is about maybe 3 feet tall here. But it's a great woodland wildflower spikenard. It's in the ginseng family. This is common St. Johnswort. This is the non-native one. We have another one up in Door County called Calms, K-A-L-M-S, Calms St. Johnswort. That's a native. This is considered a weed, but it's another one of those pretty weeds. It's about 3 feet tall or so, 5-petal flowers, and if you get in close on some of them, you'll see right along the margin of the petal, there's some dark dots, and that's how you tell it from Calms St. Johnswort. Was at one time a very important, I think maybe to some degree still today, an important medicinal plant. But here in Door County, there's a lot of it. Again, considered weedy, not invasive in terms of it going out into the woods and taking over like something like garlic mustard or forget-me-not. But if you were trying to establish a native meadow or native prairie up here, this is one you'd probably want to pull. But it is, as wheat, a very pretty one. It has this cluster of stamens, the male parts of the flower, in the middle of the petals. It looks kind of like a brush. Well, St. Johnswort, common St. Johnswort. This is Bracken Fern, certainly the most common fern in Door County. Tall, 2 to 4 feet tall. Bracken is the ancient Norse word for fern. These kind of large triangular shaped fronds on long stems, again up to 4 feet tall sometimes. Like all ferns, it has the new growth in spring is called a fiddlehead, and many people collect and eat fern fiddleheads. I know like a lady fern, it's considered a delicacy, but this one is considered to be carcinogenic. So this is one of those ferns that you should not be collecting and eating the fiddleheads in spring. It can form large colonies. many feet across. And we have a few of those at the clearing, large thickets of Bracken fern. In fact, there's a plant community that's called a bracken meadow, where it's the dominant plant. But this is here in the partial shade, a little cluster, Bracken fern. Our last plant for today is chicory. Most people know this, these beautiful blue flowers. This is yet another plant in the aster family. Not native, weedy in some cases. Some people might consider it invasive, but it's not going to again march into the woods and take over. It's a sun-loving plant, tall, up to 3-4 feet tall. The flowers just last one day and then new ones will open. And this is the plant that's famous for its roots. People, even today down south, I know it's very popular in Louisiana, will pull it up, harvest these fleshy roots, dry them, roast them, and grind them to make a coffee-like beverage. They call it chicory coffee. So here we have this beautiful blue flower, chicory.